There we go. Okay. So since I only have 40 minutes and they're timing me, we're going to start right now. So I can get as much time with you as possible. We had a very interesting joining on Monday here at Namaste. And I thought I'd kind of bring it up in this meeting because it felt like it was really helpful for a lot of people. We're going to talk about the separation. What the heck is a separation? And why would anyone in their right mind separate from God? It's a good question. Well, we're going to look at that. And I'm going to start by just reading. It's chapter 1, the illusion of needs. And I found this very helpful for my mind. And so I thought it may be helpful for you. Not a lot of reading, just a little to set this meeting up. While lack does not exist in the creation of God, it is very apparent in what you have made. Lack implies that you would be better off in a state somehow different from the one you are in. Until the separation, which is the meaning of the fall, nothing was lacking. You can think this back into the old Adam and Eve story. They were in heaven, and then as the story goes, of course, it's the woman that tempts the man, and he accepts her temptation, and they fell out of the state of heaven. Well, this is similar. Nothing was lacking until we separated. There were no needs at all. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need to correct. So I just want to, really sit with this. The separation, and we do it all the time. So we're actually making this decision all the time, whether to separate or be one with God. Every moment. It's not like it was something that happened in the past and we were born. It occurs every time in my mind I judge another, or I think I need something to be different. Now, how this played out for me a lot was I need someone to appear differently, and that need is where I completely separate from God again. So anytime I need, and hi, Marianne, I see you're here, and this kind of came out of you. I had this deep, healing. It took me deep. And it was really, looking at, okay, so you want your grandkids to operate differently. Well, my whole life, I've wanted people to behave differently than the way they've shown up. And every time I think that, I am separating from God again and again and again until I, suffer immensely and eventually lay this body down. So really, it's to look at this from the single desire. Okay? If we have a single desire, there is nothing lacking. But as soon as we think someone needs to be a different way than we think they are, we have now created a need, and that's a dualistic desire. I want the peace of God, and I want them to behave differently. And I've done this my whole life, so I know this one quite well. But I didn't hold it after really doing some deep healing work with the text, I didn't see that as a double desire, but it's like, anything, all these needs we have, you think, okay, I need food, I need air, whatever. But look at all the other subtle ways we say we need something. I need to be healthy. I need this pain to go away. I need my husband to be different than what he is. I need my friends to behave better. I need. And every time I have those thoughts, I am just separating out. I'm replaying the tiny mad idea that started this whole nonsense every single time. And so I'm really observing my mind a lot right now from the standpoint of needs, because that's how the separation happens. In God's mind, there are no needs. Everything is taken care of. And in fact, it even came up today at the breakfast table, which, there's oftentimes many huge healings for me at the breakfast table. And a woman asked me, I'm trying to think how she worded it. I may not be doing it justice at all here. But, we had a kick-ass session on Monday. And I said many things that I don't usually share. Okay, I'm just going to put it all out there. And one of the things I have gotten from this path that I'm on, that I cannot see my body as broken. I just cannot see this body as broken. Because as soon as I see this body as broken, I start suffering again. Okay. So someone was asking about doctors, and I say, I haven't seen a doctor in 12 years. I don't see any doctors. I'm a chiropractor. I saw a chiropractor weekly for like 35 years because I believed I had a bad back. And that was how this whole started, because it really, when I was in hospice, I said, okay, God, if this is the way you want me to go, I need you to prove to me that I am incapable of having back pain if I don't have fear of back pain. I couldn't deal with the cancer. That was way more than I could handle at the time, but I could deal with the back pain. And sure enough, I never went back to a chiropractor. I never had back pain. So on Monday, I was saying I don't go to doctors because all doctors, and this is from my own experience of being trained as a doctor, we're Newtonian. We're archaic in our belief systems. We root out problems in the body and then seek to fix them. Well, everything in what I just said is inherently, oh, Jesus. I'm sure God and a few others are laughing right now at this thinking. So I was very honest. I shared quite openly about just, if you're still seeing doctors, you really have to be clear. What are you seeking? Are you seeking help to fix a broken body? So that's where it came in Monday. And then this morning, this woman was in the class, she came over and she said, yeah, but now I'm going to take you deeper down my rabbit hole. Okay, just be prepared. And we're on a timer, so this will end automatically at 40 minutes. But so she was saying, well, what about your car? Do you not fix your car? What about your house? Do you not fix your house? And, all I can say is Holy Spirit was right there with all the words, because I didn't know. It was like, came out of left field. I thought, oh, interesting question. And I just said, well, moving deeper into divine providence, I don't own anything. So I don't really have to fix anything. Wow. Again, I heard this first. Okay, before it came out my mouth, I heard this first. And I really had to sit with this whole thing of divine providence. And again, I don't have fear. And I told her, if there's fear, go to the doctor. If there's fear, fix your car. You know, I'm living a pretty fear-free existence right now. And I highly recommend it to everybody, because I'm not sure how I got here, but man, it's pretty perfect. It's like being in heaven all the time. And then I get these questions because, quite frankly, extending this information is definitely pushing me in my awareness and understanding of A Course in Miracles. And this whole concept of divine providence is, and I've said this for a long time, but it's made so much more sense to me. I'm on God's payroll. Really. I don't fear money. I over tip always. And I get whatever I get I do get Social Security, minimum Social Security. I don't know, maybe that's why Zoom isn't working. They never got my last payment. I don't know. But the reality is I don't fear money. I don't look at my account. I never check my checking account. I just don't. And I get it's because I don't have fear of it. I remember when I was still working, I checked my account all the time. I was terrified. There won't be enough. How much have I made? Blah, 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 blah. You know, my world kind of involved a lot of fear about my existence, my well-being. You know, it depended on going to doctors. My well-being depended on how much money I was making. My well-being depended on these things. And so I was separating all the time because I had fear. And if you take what the words of Jesus were that we just read, if I feel lack in any way, or I need to change my circumstances in any way in order to, remember that's ego, anything after in order to is ego, in order to take care of myself, I'm separating, which got me into this mess in the first place. And so I go back to this and I just think, wow, you know, and again, the only way I got here was being just completely focused on what my thoughts were and correcting any judgmental thought. Any thought that there was something wrong, that's how I have corrected this. And then now I find myself, wow, I'm really living divine providence. I don't care. I never count money. So anyway, I want to leave enough time for you guys to maybe have some time to share, because this is a big thing. And believe me, I just got this, okay? This just came through. And I realize I've been living like this for a while. And it started out by me giving all my money to David Hoffmeister. Now, you know, I don't necessarily recommend this. However, I was guided to do it. So when I did it, it's kind of like throwing your hat over a laser wired fence and then figuring out how to get it back. Because really, the easy part in giving my money away was giving my money away. The hard part was all the thoughts that came up after that. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, I mean, thoughts of my father would kill me if he were alive and knew I did this. Thoughts of now, how am I going to take care of myself? Now it's like, now what do I do? Now I've really done it. I did the big one. But the reality is there are no big ones. It's just another way of looking at everything. And I must say, you know, it took me about, not constantly, but these thoughts would come up of fear of existence and how to pay for my existence. But I don't have those thoughts anymore. They don't even come up. And I'm kind of like the first one to be, wow, they don't even come up. And it's because I allowed myself to go through all those areas of terror. And it's not like I don't have money. And Marianne called me this week. I hope you don't mind, Marianne, but I am going to share. Her grandchildren were behaving differently than what she would have liked them to behave. Now, I think we can all relate to this on some level. There's someone in your life that is behaving differently than you would like them to behave. Okay, let's just simplify this. And once I started dealing with all those little things, allowing everyone to be whomever they are without judging them or wanting them to be different. And, you know, and I can say this has probably been a 10-year process for me at this point, but I think the speed up can happen much quicker if you really start applying A Course in Miracles and not just studying it, but applying it to your thoughts, because that's where we get into trouble. The only way we can separate God is in our mind, is in our thinking that something isn't going right. Like Zoom. Zoom is my perfect learning partner right now. They're not behaving correctly, and it needs to change. And the reality is, no, it doesn't. I need to change my mind about it. The world is perfect. There's nothing to fix. And, you know, this comment that this woman had this morning about, well, how do you handle if you own your home or you own a car? And I mean, I have the simplistic answer. I don't own anything. And that's come gradually as well. I owned a lot. And it made me think, my God, I had 3 houses and 2 cars, and oh my God, I was crazy, taking care of everything. Oh my God. Oh, that car needs to go in now. Oh, the roof needs to be done. I mean, those are my thoughts. I don't have those thoughts anymore because I put the peace of God first. I don't put home ownership and peace of God, or how to best take care of Calico and the peace of God. No, I'm perfect because God tells me I'm perfect. I'm whole and complete unless I think I'm broken or something's missing, or God forbid, I seek to fix something like Zoom. You know, I'm just looking. They don't have the time thing on the Zoom meeting anymore. I think we may have all the time we need. It was just Holy Spirit teaching me this lesson. The only reason we're going to time you out is because you fear being timed out. Oh my God. It's in the moment. And I just, before I open it up, I wanted to, and this is going into another area kind of. It's chapter 28. So we went from chapter 1 to chapter 28. Because I get the miracle is in mind. And that's what this whole thing is really about. If I see that I need to fix something or alter anything in my world, that miracles cannot occur. Even though Jesus did physical miracles, that's not what this is about. This is about allowing Holy Spirit to see wherever I'm wanting to separate in my mind and see it differently, and then miracles can happen. So this is just going to read a couple sentences here. The miracle, changing my mind, that's me. The miracle does nothing. All it does is to undo. And thus it cancels out the interference to what has been done. So me thinking that something's lacking is the interference that needs to be changed around so that I see everything as whole and complete. The miracle does not add, but merely takes away. I can't, I'm a little embarrassed if I told you how often I have read the text and how little an understanding I have had of it. And this is just, this right now is kind of blowing my brain up because it explains where I'm at right now in such a beautiful way. I'm whole and complete and perfect, and life is great, and people do whatever they're going to do, and I just love them. And if there's any hook in there, I correct it immediately. That's how we do this. I don't think these grandiose ideas most of the time, like, wow, I'm in divine providence. I don't think that. I just think if I'm fearing something, oh, I need this, or I can't live without this, I correct that. I stop immediately and correct what I'm thinking I'm missing and I now need, because that's me playing out that tiny mad idea one more time. And I don't know about you, but I'm over it. It's just, I'm so over it. I don't even know if past lives, are real or not. It doesn't even matter. But I'm clear this lifetime, I'm gonna not make the same errors in thinking. Because for whatever reason, I think that's caused me lifetimes of suffering. And I'm over it. I don't want to come back and start all over again. I'm happy. I see myself as perfect, and that's a new one. I've never seen myself as perfect. I've never seen myself as okay. I've never really liked myself. I love myself now. And that's happened again by taking on all these little ideas. When someone comes across your screen and go, God, I wish they'd do it my way. Maybe I should share my way and they'll do it my way. And then I start negotiating of how we can make my way the way. Insanity. There's nothing lacking in heaven. Nothing. There's nothing lacking in God's creation, which is moi, which is you. Until we think, oh, I've got a better idea. Get a new car. Oh, I've got a great idea. Why don't I move? Oh, and it's not that you won't do any of those things. It's just watch them as they loop. Stop them and say, Holy Spirit, you guide it. You tell me what to do. You tell me where to go. You tell me whatever it is I'm needing. Not even needing, I wouldn't even use that word. Wherever I'm needing to extend, where would it be most helpful for me to extend? And that's why the Zoom room was so kind of confusing for me, because I felt it was the right way to extend, but then it kept timing me out and shutting me down. And oh my God. And it's just to see, I need to learn it's perfect. If it shuts me off, great. You know, it was like, oh, last week. Okay, so the Wi-Fi, well, the Wi-Fi had just an off day. So, you know, go out and play. That was your instructions, go out and play. And a woman the next day said, oh, I'm so sorry that your Zoom room didn't happen. And I turned to her and said, I'm not. I don't know why it happened, but okay. And so it's just, you know, remember that I'm sorry. Don't ever say I'm sorry ever, ever again. Because as soon as you say I'm sorry, you're owning some error. And there's guilt involved with that error. And there's shame that will come up with admitting that you might have done something wrong. Well, that's the separation. Remember, we are a loving thought in the mind of God, period. Nothing else. Unless we think something. And then we create a mess. You know, it was like at one point, most of my life until probably 12, 13 years ago, I believed in cancer. I heard a guy this morning talking to someone. He's a Course in Miracles guy. And he was saying, well, I don't buy into that sickness is a thing of your mind. And what I thought to myself is, yeah, we all believe whatever it is we believe. And I'm fully prepared to not have anyone watching these Zooms. No, I mean, I am happy just to know that I made peace with the fearful thoughts around cancer. Because I was suffering massively, fearing this thing called cancer. Now there's nothing, nothing I fear. I cannot tell you. And all I can say is just keep taking it on one thought at a time, folks. One thought at a time. We can do this. We can. It's totally doable. I was the last person I would have ever thought to get this. In fact, most people that knew me when I had the 3 houses, 12 cars, and, you know, a innumerable amount of animals, it's like they would have thought, Calico, God? What happened to her? I thought she died. Well, on some level, Calico did die. And she had to. But, oh, it's telling me I'm running out of time again. We have 9 minutes. So what I'm going to do real quick, because I want to hear if there's anything in your mind.